Jam to Nothing, capital Records. Just like the first time was the name of the album from Freddie Jackson. And we played the title track from my man, probably my favorite musician of all time, the late Albert Haley. That was called The Pinch Paid Off Part 1. Part 2 is when he gets into the solo. If you have a chance, go to YouTube. He goes bananas on that record. 1977, R.I.P. to the Velvet Bulldozer. He started in 2017 with a single called Equal Powers, released on Partisan Records. The album will be out at the end of April. The album is called Awake and Pretty Much Sober. That was Violence and Monica Martin. Monica Martin is the lead singer in a band called Fox, Phox, for those who keeping score. We have to take a break and pay a few bills, but keep jamming tonight and keep hanging on in there with the Dalton Green Show. Okay.
Financial support comes in part from Gifts and On, 12-step gift and bookstore since 1977. 7th Street south of Bethany Hall in Phoenix, open Tuesday through Saturday, and southeast corner of Scottsdale and Shea, open Monday through Saturday. Gifts and On Inc. on Facebook.
Broadcasting is financially supported by Rainer's Chocolate and Coffee Shop, 14021 North 51st Avenue, just north of Thunderbird, Glendale, Arizona. Proprietors are Chef Tony from England and Pat, who knows the Belgian chocolate manufacturing business. Global products from French croissants to Italian shortbread, all made on site. Gourmet breakfast and lunch menu. Artist display and gift stationery room. Open 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Closed Mondays. RainersChocolate.com. Rainer's Chocolate and Coffee Shop on Facebook.
Hi, this is Frank Dominguez. Listen to my program Concierto here on Radio Phoenix. Concierto is the nation's first bilingual classical music program, presenting classical music in English and in Spanish, and celebrating the contributions of Spanish and Latin American composers and performers. Remember Concierto only on Radio Phoenix, where the Valley comes to talk, sing, connect.
Concierto, Monday at 10 a.m. on Radio Phoenix.
Yaga, this is your Yaga man, Mr. Clean B of the Yaga Movement Radiocast. Join me every Saturday live on RadioPhoenix.org, bringing you the best of Caribbean flavor. Anything from reggaeton, dancehall, Afrobeat, and much, much more. Join me from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Listen to live artist interviews, Let's Talk Phoenix, and much, much more. Remember, this is the Yaga man, Mr. Clean B at the Yaga Movement Radiocast. Yaga.
Soul music is not dead just yet, baby. You know we love to go around the world, so we went over to London as a tune from the latest album from Omar. I own that album on vinyl, baby. I didn't realize when it came in when I bought the album. It came with the digital download, so I had to download right away. And the vinyl came in several weeks ago, and I didn't realize I just need to go pick it up because I didn't have it shipped. So I had it shipped somewhere else that way. If it was too hot or too cold or raining or whatever, it wouldn't get down. You know what I'm saying? I'll go get it this week. Love and Beats came out in February. That tune is called Deja Vu. Features Myra Andrade, Andrade on vocals as well. She is of Cape Verdean descent, and she currently lives in Paris, France. Omar's based in London. A lot of great concerts coming up real soon. Going down this Thursday at the Press Hall in Phoenix is Black Jungles and the Honey Bears. Get info at PrestonJText.com. And on April 22nd, Crystal Record will be at the Monarch Theater downtown Phoenix on Washington Street. Or info at monarchtheater.com. Theater is T-R-E instead of T-R-E. I'm sorry, T-R-E instead of T-E-R is the English spelling. Wednesday, April 26th at Last Exit Live, Oregon, and the Monophonics will be in town. I've seen Oregon a few times, but the Monophonics have been through a few times. I still haven't seen them. I'll be in Phoenix August this year. They will be at Last Exit right there at Lolo's Chicken and Waffles on Central Ave, lastexitlive.com for more info. And coming up real soon in Charlotte, Samantha Fish will be at the Neighborhood Theater on April the 18th. Johnny Lang will be at the Neighborhood Theater on April the 19th. Robert Randolph and the Family Band will be there on May the 11th. And Victor Wooten, renowned bass player, will be there on May the 15th. You know, I've never seen Victor Wooten. He's very technical, and I have a lot of favorite bass players. He has won Bass Player of the Year several times. He's very good. He's just very technical. But, you know, hey, he's doing his thing. Coming up next, we're going to play a tune by Louise Dolby. I'm going to play a tune from her EP that came out last month. And I dig this tune. And she has a tune called Sparkle. If you've never heard that tune, it was released several years ago. When she dropped an album in 2015, she put it on that album as well. If you have a chance, you know, see that version of Sparkle. Man, it'll make you feel so good down inside. I just love that tune, man. Well, here is Louise Dolby. Thank you for joining me. And we're going to the radio show on the People Station Radio.
Support the Girl Scouts. Support the Girl Scouts. We got it here. How you doing, Chief? I appreciate you so much.
This is June Conrad.
Joe, good to meet you. So excited. I'm glad y'all did this show up. That's Mr. Kajas, our executive producer.
Right.
We in business right now. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do
Okay.
it. I got something for y'all. All right. So we got the rundown of the show here. Just kind of how the segments will work out. And down there at the bottom, I have the questions I sent online. If you have the bios, I take a chance to read them. You go over them. You let me know because you can look it up. You can look it up real quick and I can attach it. Either way, if you want to let me know. Send it to me.
see you out there dancing.
Well, see, let me know. Let me know.
Working out some programs,
But if it's on a line somewhere,
You can go and just, if you put in my name, I don't know
what might come up?
what.
Oh, man. You got that Raiders on, you know. I'm concerned.
We're going back to 1971.
No, I just want to know. I just like, y'all really believe it? And then this is Marcus out. That's all I got to say. After Marcus left, I can't even.
It's not even allowed to be said in my house.
Can't even go around without Marcus out. Bo Jackson got to be the best thing ever seen in a Raiders uniform. Marcus out, my man. I don't know.
That name is not allowed to be said in my house.
You don't like Marcus? You don't like Marcus?
He was cool up until about the time he went in as chief instead of a Ram.
You know, he should not, man. You know, he should be ready. You know that. He should just retire. Let it be. Oh, see, you really got the chip on the shoulder. Cali, this Cali. I'm taking the chip on the shoulder. Yeah. He was like, forget that brother.
Like if the Raiders would move to San Antonio, me and the NFL would have been
You know when Walter Payton would have left Chicago.
like
I guess I got to feel you. Walter would have been like playing for somebody else. You got the Rams back.
Got around back.
Oh, wow. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Cal?
Yes.
Calvin,
Just Google it.
probably going right and get something.
Okay. Okay. You're trying to look up something. Hey, so he's got it already set up right here. This is what did we bring this one? That one? No. Oh,
I wasn't here. I wasn't there when I Which one's better, Crunch or Mr. Good Mr.
Well, if you can get a higher view, I need you to get this one. I need you to get. All right, listen. You listening? We want to raise it up. You listening to me? Listen first. Raise it up so we can catch that above view that I was telling you about. If you want to try that angle, but make sure you don't do a lot of moving. Just slight movements to whoever's talking. That's it. All right? Is the 32 in there? Drive?
Should I move to?
No, he should be able to stand right here.
Oh, that reminds me, I need to.
Stand right there. Just step right through there, stand back there, and be able to raise it all the way up to the top. And then even above your head. Why are you twisting there? Just once you got it set, don't just step through it, step over it. Okay, I already asked you to come this way because you're gonna bump into this. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Now listen to what I'm saying. You want to step through this way, and after you get out, you can already have it set to where it needs to be. Make sure it's level. There you go. Oh, well, this is Rod Ambrose June Conrad. A play coming up. Okay. It's called Evangelia. And he started a movement of black artists that was to combine African and African-American arts together to do performances all over the nation, all over the state here, and create this festival of like events. And it's got all these college connections. James Professor, I believe that weeks ago. We're going to find out which one. Okay. We're going to bring this network of professors to come together and teach, what we need to create this little movement of art and expression. Okay, second, the 4th of April is coming up, which is the year before the assassination date by Dr. King. So there was we're going to talk about this art initiative. Spurred on by the wife of one of the writers of that speech that he did before he was shot.
The one about Vietnam.
So So this is the 50th anniversary of that speech. And he wants to know, he wants to know who the broadcast something Tuesday going forward. We'll get the national parks. We can talk about it a little bit.
You mean just like the speech itself, or the interview?
He wants to broadcast some artists. He wants to say, get some spoken word artists to perform.
He wants to bring them down here.
He just wants to have them in the studio. He wants to come down here and invite people.
What day is that again?
It's Tuesday the 4th. It's whatever hour, half hour span, and get him down there, and he'll send out the press release and get all that stuff going.
Yeah, we can talk
just
about
bring him down here, collection of artists, the performance on that same day, so that he has a plan to get the ear of the U.S. Council of Arts and say that we did, this is what we did, because that 4th is called the Day of Creativity, but it's kind of like a hidden thing. Nobody's really talking much about it. There's like funding and all sorts of movements that come out of this idea. So I was like, yeah, I think this is a possibility.
That would work.
I looked at Tuesday. I was like, I don't know what time. There's a slot that I guess we probably played music or something before, but you probably know better than me.
Yeah, no, I can figure out a time.
Man,
this looks so much better when it's sitting on this.
Oh yeah, just sit still.
You want to look at that to see if it needs to go up or tilt it down? But yeah, no, I was talking about that.
All right, so there's a number of current events I have. Quilly wanted to know, did you do the Venezuela?
No, we're gonna. Well,
she said she's got some stuff
if
on it, but she didn't know.
week.
Yeah. Hey, next week you might be good though, because I might be doing another blues fest for Radio Phoenix. That worked out real well. People were going right on their phone and like it and listening, like they plugged it in. I was like, oh, that's dope. Like this is it. Yeah, plug it in. They started saving the page. So I don't know.
Because I noticed a little bit of a spike.
Yes, I'm saying. So I don't know who can calculate that. Like, can put that in some paper for us, so we can say, look at from here to here. This is what these kind of events have caused to happen, so that this can be something that we support. Where not only blues, but we have somebody that any festival we can get into. You know what I'm saying? Because what he just let me do, he just let me have all the Dead Giant Water, the band is set up. So I told them Phoenix, I played different shows, I played some things off. That's another thing that I was trying to tell Victor. I was like, man, we should probably have to sit down and do the next one so that we know that I don't have to be the only host, because multiple festivals are going on. If we can get in and go to the festivals, then we can give them the same rhetoric that we just say the rhetoric all over, and we kind of train up a group of like hosts. Because I know Tom was like, I don't really feel comfortable doing it. I'm like, we get some people that feel comfortable doing it. To get them saying the same rhetoric. And this is something that's people on like, yo, look at our numbers increase. And then we can use that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a catalyst to say, hey, this is our listenership. We're not from here to here, since we don't have people here. This is a calculated way to say this shows. I don't know. I'm going crazy because I'm so excited to be doing that job. So y'all want to come in? Oh, come on in. We're about to go live now. We're about to do it. I want to make sure we get it. I got to take a couple of notes.
Okay,
so
you got water?
Yes, but we can't have any beverages in here.
No, I'll drink it before I get in here.
But yeah, there's you can feel free. We have some cups on the microwave, and there's a bottled big old jug of water right there on the table. Feel free.
On the table, okay, right here. So now where's in here?
You see?
Oh.
Goodbye, God. Queen City. Radio Phoenix.
Thank you so Yeah, we can do it live. All right, so we'll make sure I got June Conrad. And then you are a professor at
Phoenix College.
Phoenix College. I thought it was Phoenix College. And then you teach
English, writing,
English writing.
and literature, whatever.
Right.
Wherever they sent me.
Wherever they send you.
My big one was the one that was nearest and dearest to me was English 102, which is the research. And over a course of years,
Broadcasting is financially supported by
semesters,
Raiders Chocolate and Coffee Shop,
tried to find a
14021
theme
North
that would
51st Avenue,
to the
just north of
students and make a
Thunderbird,
change.
Glendale, Arizona.
And so I
Proprietors
would do
are Chef
historical
Tony from
ones,
England
and then
and Pat,
dear and dear
who
to me
knows the
is the
Belgian
60s,
chocolate
that was
manufacturing business.
Yeah.
Global
my
products
time.
from French
So I
croissants
decided
to
to do
Italian
the
shortbread,
60s.
all made
And
on site.
it ended up
Gourmet
becoming
breakfast
such
and
a
lunch menu.
popular
Artist display and
class
gift stationery
that
room.
they would
Open
line
7
up. They
a.m.
would
to 4
start to
p.m.
line
Closed
up to
Mondays.
the class before the class was
Raiders
ended.
Chocolate and Coffee Shop on Facebook.
So they
It may be
They
hard to
really
believe,
were
but people
hungry
just like you
to
are
learn
already
about
saving money.
social
FeedThePig.org
justice.
makes it easy.
They
Their
weren't
simple
happy
savings
at
plan
first,
teaches
but
you how to
once they
start
got
saving
into it, they
without
were
going
beginning to be
overboard.
amazed.
So you don't need to
So
start
I
foraging
used
wild
the
berries.
writing,
I'm
their
skeptical,
skills
but
in
these are
research
actually
and
pretty.
writing to teach them
You
about
don't need to
social
sell your
justice
soul to the devil.
because they hadn't had it. And
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
the gay rights, the women's rights,
Broadcasting
that's
is financially
to me,
supported
that's all
by
support.
Miss Stacy
And,
Pet Grooming, 1219 East Glendale
and
Avenue,
they
in
would
Stratton
open their
Plaza.
eyes.
Miss Stacy
So
staff recognizes
that was
and
my
respects pets
my
as
big one
family.
was this.
Call or text for
I
appointments
had an
at
opportunity
602
to use
980
my
37
position for
Miss
social
Stacy Pet
justice.
Grooming on Yelp.
Full Moon, Hacksaw, Jazz, and Blues. This is Todd Colson, heard nationally with the help of Radio Phoenix. After a few
So we're just gonna
weekly
do your
broadcasts,
billboard
we're
real
of the opinion that jazz radio provides a
Got your
fresh
headphones?
sound. With collectible grooves and a touch of Latin, bookended by
Those are
true
probably
classics and new artists. We enjoy relaxation, stimulation, entertainment, and some like in Jeff.
I'm Calvin Worthen, and today on Soul Star Live, we have Brother Rod Ambrose and June Conrad. We're going to be doing a little talking about the talking drum and some upcoming arts, events, and cultural revolutions that's happening here. So stay tuned. Soul Star Live up next.
Okay, you're clear.
Well, that's very cool.
all right, yeah. We get it in. So the first segment, we usually will talk about current events. If there's something that you would like to speak upon, I definitely am just going to mention that there have been a number of black women that have been missing, and no one has decided to do anything about it. So there's a Facebook video of a mom. She videotapes her child coming home every day, and it's because of the videotape she uploaded. There was a group of white males with book bags.
Broadcasting is financially supported by Urban
fellows.
Customs.
They were
Online at
approaching her, and she had to come out
Urban Customs is a licensed
verbally,
all-encompassing flooring and remodeling company.
accost and stop the situation. Hey, what are y'all doing? Who are y'all? Follow my daughter. And so it's kind of one of those stories that's been kind of swept under the rug, but there's a number of black women and girls, young ladies missing.
Where?
All over the country. It's like spiked. There was a spike of people just missing persons, and they're mostly black women. So it's kind of swept under the rug right now. Not, NPR hasn't even picked up on the news of it. I guess we got to get to like 100 or 1,000 or whatever. We got to get to whatever, wherever it takes to get to it. Well, we have to start.
Or somebody important black.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Yeah, an important black person. So we have to wait again, right, to receive any sort of justice and service. But otherwise, the buffoonery in the White House and any others, if you want to chime in on, you just you let me know. Now we got headphones for you right here, sir. Right here to your left. On the table. Right
Oh,
here.
right here.
Those are for you.
You're wireless. You're wireless?
No, no, no.
Oh, okay.
We almost there.
Yeah.
We'll be there at the next studio. That's the one. That's when you have Desert Soul Media out with that wireless studio. So what are you? What should I announce you as? Are you artist still? Director, producer? What are you? What should I announce you as? Artist, director, producer, multifaceted?
Yes.
The man. Mr. The Man.
Well, just long time arts, and I just recently retired from the city of Phoenix, where I worked at the department here. It was built for over 20 years as prevention, education,
The irony of this is that we both worked at the city of Phoenix at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Never met. Did not meet until he was came to my class in Phoenix.
Oh, okay, Phoenix College.
And we became fast friends after that.
One more pointer, make sure that you are speaking in the Pacific, that you're about a good fist away, so you make sure you are within the fist.
Go ahead and turn down volumes on cell phones.
So yeah, just make sure you're speaking into the actual pickup pattern there. Or you want to throw your headphones on for your comfort.
Good music.
I believe we are live on Facebook now.
And YouTube.
So if there are any things you want to say to people who might listen later on, click on later if you got Facebook friends, you can share the link.
You've got a great radio voice.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, stand by. Okay, stand by. Your mics are live.
Used to.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Soul Star Live. Recorded in the basement of the Phoenix Center for the Arts. We are at Radio Phoenix here on a great Sunday afternoon. And I have a couple of wonderful guests here in the studio with me. I have Brother Rod Ambrose and Sister June Conrad here to talk about. We're going to talk about it all. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it all. You want to say hi to the audience?
Hi.
Yes, Sister Joan.
Good evening. This is Rod Ambrose.
Good
I'm
evening.
here with Mr. Calvin Worthing, and I'm glad to be here in the studio.
Y'all got to watch out. It's the only voice that might take over mine every so often, just because it's good to listen to. So, Sister Joan Conrad here is a professor of literature over at Phoenix College.
And writing.
Writing. That's the stuff that people don't like, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but you've made it, though, that the people enjoy your class at some point.
I do.
You said 102?
Yeah, well,
Research writing.
Research writing.
That's the hard class.
Yes, it is. That's the one everybody dreads.
Yes,
to take,
yes,
yeah.
no doubt. But you put a spin on it for them.
I did. I started using historical periods to teach writing and research, and it turned out to be the most popular one was the 1960s.
Nice.
And so it was a great platform to help students understand they could become activists
It's a
in
great
their
decade.
societies. It was a great decade.
Great decade. I don't know anything about it. I wasn't around there,
Yeah,
but I
both
just
from the
heard.
same
Yeah,
age.
yeah. I only heard. Yeah.
So I always guaranteed them at the beginning of the class that at least one would become an activist, and
Nice.
generally 10 or 15. Am I too close?
Nice. That'll work. That'll work. And Brother Rod Ambrose, the man. That's what your bio reads, right? The man. Phoenix, right here. Thank you so much for coming to Soul Star Live.
Well, thank you for having me, Cal.
Oh, man. So what is it that you did here in this building? This, you know, we're thankful for your services of 20 years. Was it 20, 40? Maybe I could be subtracting.
Well, I worked for the city officially for about 23 years, and out of the Parks and Recreation Department, and of course, this building was one of those key buildings in the vicinity that served this population in the arts and illustrative and performance arts.
Nice.
And the theater here is a fabulous theater. I've used it very often over the years, and I have a lot of fond memories coming out of this building.
Nice.
This building is also where Larry Wilson, who was one of the leaders of the COBA organization, a consortium of Black and other artists formed by Dr. Eugene Grigsby,
all right,
usually had exhibits here for children in the community.
Nice.
And they still do. He called it the vibe of the city, the African vibe of the city.
The COBA.
Yeah, COBA organization. And so I have fond memories of being here.
Wow, that is outstanding. And you also have some sort of handle in the Black Theater Troupe as well, historically?
Oh yeah. Now that, of course, is my lifetime love, having worked for Helen K. Mason. And Helen K. Mason was the first woman or female director in Parks and Recreation or supervisor. And she was also the first African American director of Parks and Recreation. And on top of that, she took me at 18 or 19 years old and a group of folks that came from First Institutional Church, and we formed what is known today as the Black Theater Troupe. And in that capacity, I served as a lead actor for over 46 years. And we directed, and I've directed or performed in 4 to 6 shows a year since 1970.
Wow.
So I have a deep reservoir of love for David Hempfield and all of the Black Theater Troupe family, Chandra, and all of those who have participated throughout the decades.
That's righteous.
Yes.
You know, a little shout out to the Black Theater Troupe, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're doing the Scottsboro Boys. That's the next play that's coming up. And it's coming up in April, and I urge anybody to get out and go see it because everything the Black Theater Troupe has done has been nothing less than superb. So you go out and see it.
That sounds great. That sounds great. So I brought you on today so we can talk a little bit about arts and culture, but I do want to make sure I mention in current events recently there's been a spike in missing persons for Black women and children. And I did see a Facebook video that showed a mom that was videotaping her daughter coming home and having to verbally tell these young men or ask them what they were doing following her daughter. So, just a real cause to the people there to be looking out and watch out for any activity that deals with young ladies, especially of the African American descent. They've been missing, and I guess we got to wait for somebody. We got to wait for an important one to leave, and then this will be a national story. But all in all, I have 2 daughters, so I'm just when I saw the story, I just kind of like, wow, I got to really pay attention here. This whole spike in white supremacy and white privilege. I'm hearing more conversations about things like this because of our current status of government, and people are being a little more expressive now about these situations. So let's be on guard, I guess, to say. I never thought I would have to see this again. I'm absolutely, like I told you earlier, I'm not familiar with the 60s, but I know from watching the videos and learning
throughout school, and it was tough. It was absolutely a struggle. It feels like some of it's coming back.
A lot of it's coming back.
A lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I was telling Rod before we came in that we just kind of, well, we're done. We got the civil rights done. We got the war stopped. We're done. And so everything just kind of went underground. And we didn't really address enough the racism and the xenophobia and all that. And so now that the current administration has given license to it, it's just bubbling up.
Yeah, what's been the sediment down there?
Yeah, it's always been there.
It's always been there, yeah.
And we talked about now it needs to be excised, and the only way you can excise it is to talk about it, to get it out. And
so you got to speak to those demons.
You
got to speak to those demons. I like that. So part of what we are doing today is Mr. Rod Ambrose's talking drum, and some of this art initiative that we'll be speaking about for the 4th of April, what you want to do with that. But can you give me a really quick once-over about what is the talking drum?
Good question, Calvin. I'm glad you asked it. I think you're asking it for a lot of other people who won't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm going to thank you for the opportunity to express myself about the talking drum. In my career over 47 years, I have been probably a conduit for about 4 different types of companies that formed. The Black Theater Troupe being the oldest, but I've also always been, aside from conventional theater, a guerrilla theater guy.
Oh, man.
An arts theater guy in the community.
Yeah.
So I've done activism a lot. Okay, and as I retired from the city of Phoenix, and after 50 years of being in the workforce, I decided that I was going to do a few things that I thought was necessary for our community and that I felt needed to be addressed. Talking Drum Performance Studio is an artist activist platform so that we can get lots of artists and educators and folks that are interested in changing some of the dynamics in our social media today. And we got plenty of it. And so Phoenix College being my alma mater, where I went in 1970, and I met Helen Mason, became the place that I decided that we should establish the talking drum. I think I need to precede those remarks by listing the fact that Dr. Camilla Westenberg at Phoenix College and Dr. Joseph Kimbwende from Congo, who is also an educator at Phoenix College, also pulled together something called the African Diaspora Reunion. And it is a little known event, I think, in one of the best kept secrets of our community. And they've been doing that since 2000. So this was the 17th year that we've had that event. It's a banquet that invites African students and African American students to the table where they can share food, break bread, and talk about countries in Africa and discuss the kind of political and social initiatives that need to happen in the country and for the diaspora.
Yeah.
Of course, Calvin is aware of this because he was one of the key people who performed on February 16th and 17th.
Yeah.
And you were absolutely fabulous. And of course, everybody loved what you did. He does storytelling and he's wonderful.
Thank you.
That's one of the things we do with the medium of the talking drum. And it is essentially designed to create a kind of interest in the community through spoken word and storytelling and musicians and actors and actresses and dancers. And that's what we have created the talking drum for. Annually, we will always be there to present and to bring the 2 different groups. And this time we had, I think, about 7 or 8 different countries in Africa present, and you were there. You were wonderful. Yes.
Nice. So really quick here, let me get that. MyClick Urban. Support for Radio Phoenix programming comes in part from myclickurban.com. MyClick Urban offers an event listing service for public and private event promoters in select U.S. cities, including Phoenix, Atlanta, New York, and Los Angeles. More information, including listings of concerts, conventions, cultural, and family events available via the smartphone app or online at myclickurban.com. Man, that Talking Drum event was so exciting. I was so humbled to be a part of it. I appreciate that. That's all right. How did you and Joan connect? Like, what's the relationship, the story for that?
Well, I wanted to have speakers come into my 60s class.
Okay.
And I asked Camilla Westenberg if she had somebody that she thought would be good to come and talk to my class. And she introduced me to Rod, and then he came semester after semester and would just win them over like you wouldn't believe. You could hear a pin drop.
Wow.
And that's how we got started, and we're fast friends. We've shared so much similarity in what we believed in that we just best friends immediately.
Right. Okay, that sounds great. We're going to take a quick little break here. This is Soul Star Live. I'm Calvin Worthen. We will be right back.
You're clear. Got 2 minutes. When you hear the music, you can keep going for about a minute.
Okay.
If you want to. All right. Oh, this is the original.
Oh, yeah. Same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, now, see, one of the things I did is Project Brave. That's what I did for City of Phoenix, was bringing reality about violence and addiction to young people.
Is that that's Brave, that's what it stands for? Bringing reality about violence and education.
So,
oh, wow.
I see up to sometimes 7,000 to 10,000 students every other month. And I lectured in all of the colleges around the state, actually, on the subject of violence and social justice issues. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that's what I actually did.
Yeah.
With the City of Phoenix.
Okay. Okay.
And of course, I also ran the South Phoenix Youth Center. I was one of the coordinators of the South Phoenix.
South Phoenix, which one is that?
It's right in front of the South Mountain High School on 7th Street.
Oh,
in Southern.
Southern?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So I did that. I ran that for about 8 years.
Okay. Is it still operational now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I left a great staff there. Outstanding. All of it. South Phoenix Youth Center.
That's the place that you talking about might have open space.
Could, yeah.
That's so big. You come there, you can run a little.
Yeah, you can do
little journalism program out there.
Oh, yeah.
Some audio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should talk about that. Like after the show. That's the president of Desert Soul Media Incorporated, the vice president of the organization, 501c3 organization. Our mission is to actually teach young people the skills of digital media.
Well, that would
pass
be
it on.
wonderful. We had a whole studio there.
Oh, yeah.
That we could, over the summer, we should be getting about 25 laptops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that we have a room that was dedicated just for.
Okay. We should definitely do a quick little powwow afterwards and figure out everybody. I'm going to go with question 3 to open this segment up here. Welcome back to Soul Star Live. Back in the building. Welcome Black, welcome Black, welcome Black. I like to do that one sometimes because if people paying attention, they might be. I don't know what's going on. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Sister Joan and Brother Rod. And I got a question about this initiative on the 4th of April. And I want to make sure I read it correctly. What prompted the Day of Creative Expression? Is that what you
Right. A Day of Creative Expression and Change.
Okay.
Now, just recently, last year, around in October 2016, about 400 people that were stakeholders from around the country, artists who were activists and leaders in the community, came together to respond to a series of questions about the electorate and about their feelings, what things kept them up at night, what issues were seeming to boil over in them. And what we found is startling, of course, and it was due to the political climate. There were fears. There were fears that they were going to cut out arts programming, that they were going to do away with some of the compassionate programs that really impact the lives of poverty-stricken people in this country. So they formed something called the United States Department of Arts and Culture.
Okay.
And as a part of that, there's an initiative, an American-wide initiative to basically raise the issue of arts and culture and to talk about what the political leadership should be doing in the community. Okay, so a part of that initiative, Aljo Harding, who is the widow of Dr. Vincent Harding. Dr. Vincent Harding is someone most people have never heard of. He was not part of the Big Six with Dr. King. He was not part of Dr. Abernathy or any of the others that were part of SCLC or the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He was someone who was Dr. King's best friend and speech writer. So they collaborated on the speeches a lot of times that Dr. King did. In a nutshell, what he did was wrote the speech that's called Breaking the Silence, Vietnam and Beyond. And that speech dealt with, as most people, it was one of the shortest speeches Dr. King ever did. Dr. Vincent Harding woke up in the middle of the night and he called Dr. King and he said, I don't think you should do that speech. I'm afraid it's a little too sharp for the political climate that we have. The president is already critical of your stance on the Vietnam War. Let's do something else. And Dr. King said, let me think about it. The next day he decided, and he decided he was going to do the speech just as it was, and he wasn't going to edit it. That speech is what he did on April the 4th, 1967, 1 year to the date he was assassinated on April the 4th, 1968. And that was to give us an idea that you will not go down that vein. And part of that vein was when Dr. King mentioned that this country needed to be a part of a revolution of cultural values. That if it did not change its position of extremism and materialism, extremism and militarism, and extremism and racism, that the United States was heading down a path that would be destructive for our country eventually. Dr. King's speech from back then today is more today represented than it was then. His speech was a speech for the future and not when he made the speech. So I think that when we're dealing with this on April 4th, it is a day when all across the country, artists of all stripes are going to be coming together to express themselves around that speech. And of course, yours truly over here, Mr. Calvin Worthing, will deliver that speech on April the 4th. And I think he's going to do a fine job of it. And I'm sure that folks, when they hear that speech, they will recognize they thought they knew Dr. King. And they will realize that I Have a Dream actually fomented an environment and a moral climate and consciousness that led to the election of the first African-American president in history. But it didn't stop there, because this speech, Breaking the Silence, will take us the next 40 or 50 years. So
that is amazing. That's amazing. And so all of this was spurred on by the widow of the actual speechwriter,
Aljo Harding, who is an artist herself, and who is one of the leaders of the National Seniors Council for Civil Rights, the Civil Rights
There's
movement.
a whole seniors council.
There's a seniors council that's national, that's made up of every stripe of person you can think of. I'm one of those seniors that is part of that that development, and we're usually people that actually participated in the marches as I did as a kid in Chicago at 16 years old.
Wow.
So yes,
So she's kind of spurred this thing on to commemorate both her husband and Dr. King
and what needed to happen today.
Yeah.
Dr. Harding died of a broken heart.
Wow.
Al Josie Harding said that she sincerely felt that he had, because he believed himself responsible for Dr. King having been assassinated, since it was his words that Dr. King was speaking. So that's the backstory about what that is. And I think this generation today ought to know that truth, and that truth is deeper and more componental to what has to happen today.
Wow. It just turned Soul Star Live. Soul Star Live is like turned out right now. It just turned out like, wow. That's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. So we are very excited about this opportunity. You know, we're going to discuss about what that might mean for Radio Phoenix. So we want to definitely tell our listeners to tune in and, you know, stay involved here. We're going to have more from both Sister Joan and Brother Rod just after this little break. I don't know. You got anything to throw in there? I just want to, you know, that was a lot. I feel like soaked.
That's kind of like following, you know, the Rolling Stones.
All right, well, we're going to try to follow the Rolling Stones. We're going to go ahead and try to do it big here. Soul Star Live, we're going to take one more break here. We'll be right after this.
You got 2 minutes.
Actually, one of my students did a paper, went
On Dr. Vincent Harding?
Yeah, found it and came to me and said, what do you think? And I said, go for it.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Wow.
Yes, very.
It's Dr. Vincent Harding.
Yes, fast
speechwriter.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's too bad that he died like that, because hate and ignorance killed Dr. King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Words.
Yeah, definitely not the words. I love you to say that. Word for us. That's beautiful. Like, yeah. When you said it, I was, you know, it just shook me. Like,
You know,
this guy died of a broken heart. Like,
just minutes before Robert Kennedy was assassinated, and he had just won the California primary, and he said to the people there, he said, we're a compassionate country, we're a loving country, and I know we can change things. And just minutes later, he was killed. And I do believe that we are a compassionate country, that we've lost our way and forgot that she's such a single thing. It's every group. It's out there. It's together.
Oh, yeah.
wow, yeah, that was amazing. That was great. That was better than the second time. Like, it's like hearing the story, like, what? You said this? Yeah, that's good. That's good.
This is what he did to mesmerize my class.
Just took over the whole class.
He did. I'd let him.
That's great.
I would just go sit
Yeah,
down.
she just gave it to me.
Gave it to him.
Now keep in mind during the break we still have Facebook Live and YouTube.
That's right. So yeah, we
You
are
wanna say anything
conversing.
to those
Oh,
audiences?
The audience. Yeah. So they're listening online. So they're gonna be able to view
Oh, I
this,
see.
you know,
Okay.
multiple times over.
Okay.
Some shout outs to some people. Plugs.
Well, it's been quite a while since I've been in the studio in this way. It's time for the City of Phoenix television.
Okay, stand by. So this song that's going to open up this next segment is by a local artist there, Terry Tobin. That's
Oh,
our
I know
picture
Terry.
behind
Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, I like Terry.
And this
She's
is
good.
called Done. The
Done.
name of the song is Done.
Great.
Okay, your mics are open.
Welcome back to Soul Star Live. That's Terry Tobin there. Done. Like that. So, done. Like we are almost done. We got 2 segments left, so we're not all the way finished complete. But that right there, you can stick a fork in it. But that last segment, you say was done right there. Sister Joan, you had some comments that you was sharing over the break.
Yes, I said that I was sorry that he had died of a broken heart, thinking that he had killed King by his words, when it was hate and ignorance that killed Dr. King.
Yeah.
And we need to remember that.
It was hate and ignorance that killed Dr. King.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing else, nothing anybody else did. Just horrible hate and ignorance. Oh man, we can't even dance around it. Let me ask this question here, and I put this on here because I remember a previous conversation we had. I'd like both of you to kind of speak towards what your thoughts are here. What is most important for us right now to remember about Dr. King? What do you think is most important? You know what we get, in January, we'll get a couple of different things. We'll get some images, we'll get some speeches, we'll get a great hero of a man. But what should we be remembering now about Dr. King? Anything that just pop into your head?
His resilience. And it brings to mind is Selma, and how he went back and went back and went back with peaceful, overtures. He did not let anybody raise their hands back at the people. But he was resilient. Right. He came back with this incredible. This is wrong, and we need to address it. And had he done anything else, then the rest of the country would not have seen the horrific violence that was enacted upon the protesters. And then there wouldn't have been actors and actresses and whites and Hispanics and Chinese and whatever saying enough and joining the actions.
Wow.
And I think his resilience.
He didn't intentionally retaliate. Like I always would, as a young man, would watch that and go why not put your hand up, block your face, do something. I mean, there was a very intentional act.
I saw an article, and I used it in my classes, from a woman who had been a part of the civil rights movement back in the 60s. And one thing that stuck out in her article was they all dressed up in their finest clothes. The women would wear their Sunday best, the men would wear suits and polish their shoes, because they wanted these other people who were against any kind of integration and civil rights to know that they were better than that. And so that to me is something that we need to remember, is that's what he brought out in people, was we need to be better than that. We need to be better than bigotry and anger and hatred. We need to rise above it. And he drew people from all cultures to him through that resilience and that desire to integrate. Not just impose on something, but to integrate and be a part of America together.
That's wonderful.
And I'm just, forever amazed by Dr. King.
Oh, man. I was already amazed when I learned that Dr. King memorized everybody's name. Like he knew people, met you one time, and he would have your name in his database. That's one feat I'm trying to still work on right now. But we're talking about in terms of a genius, a young man who went to college at 15, 16 years old, and we're talking, expert in his mental prowess and his ability to assess situations and the communication. I mean, he was a great communicator and could talk to anybody. I thought it was, it's just amazing to see that kind of man. Not even one time, like he wasn't even flinching. That's the thing. He's not even flinching. You know they're gonna hit you. You know they're gonna beat you. Not even flinching. I don't think I have that. I'd have to bite an ankle or something. I'm wrestling somebody down. I'm not gonna be able to. So don't call me to line up for that kind of protest, because I'm gonna bite somebody on the way down. Somebody gonna get it. Dr. Rod, what can you speak to about what do we need to be considering for Dr. King right now?
Well, I think you have struck a nerve with the question, because there's probably so much we should remember. But I'm just going to imbibe his words. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hatred cannot drive out hatred. Only love can do that. The reason I would pick that phrase is because it embodies more than just the periphery of what we think the civil rights movement should have or have been to us as a people in a country. The civil rights movement that Dr. King headed was more than just a civil rights movement for Americans. It was the closing of a chapter that began with the Civil War under Abraham Lincoln. So I think we're in error if we are thinking that the civil rights movement was something that simply represented black people or people of color throughout this time. The entire world was watching the Civil War in the 1800s because they wanted to see if this new experiment of a country would cave in or implode on its civil disobedience and its civil war. And they didn't know or realize that the character of the country was in jeopardy, but that character evolved because black people were emancipated.
Wow.
Now, there is this thing that I think Dr. King has left us with, and that is the determination to make sure that all people are free, because he says injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
That's right.
So if we're talking about universal truths and what we have to do for anyone, whether they be Muslims from the Far East or Southeast Asians or whatever that population of people are, they are all people under God. I stopped teaching my kids about racism. I don't talk about it. When I'm asked, I tell them that is a trick that's used to subject people and to exploit people. There's one humanity, one God, and there's one simple thing that we have to do, and that's love one another. And if we are not loving one another, it's impossible for us to live as a society free from war, free from strife, free from debilitating diseases, whatever they are. We can conquer and do much more with each other through love than we can without love. So I think that's one of the things. Now, I'll mention really quickly that I met Dr. King when I was 16 years old.
Oh, yeah. At 16.
I had in Chicago, Illinois, at St. Raphael's under Father Clemens, who was a Catholic, the first black Catholic priest. And Father Clemens asked us to go over in the projects and pull out as many young black people as we could to come and help with the march. We had nearly, I guess, 100 some odd kids, I guess, in that room, packed into that room. We sat on the floor Indian style. We went through all of the different leaders. Julian Bond, he spoke. Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jackson, was like 10 feet tall, as I remember. He had a big old afro, and we were sitting on the floor, and he was standing on a milk crate. You had to look up to see him. And he had us to first stand up. And he said, stand up, because it's symbolic of what you have to do in your generation. If you're going to conquer the evils that are in this society, you have to stand up. Then he says, I want you to repeat after me, I am somebody. I am somebody. Yeah, I may be tall and I may be small, but I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be rich, I may be poor, but I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be red and underfed, but I am somebody. I may be Asian, but on this occasion, I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be brown, but stick around. I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be white and not so right, but I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be black, but don't lose track. I am somebody. I didn't understand why those words meant so much and it made me feel so good.
That's Reverend Jesse Jackson.
I didn't understand
Freestyling.
why I felt good about it.
Yeah.
But as I grew and learned, I now understood as a social worker, as a behavioral health practitioner, that he was really dealing with our psyche and our ability to develop our own self-esteem using our own voices as a foundation to self-recognize and to open us up to our own self-pride. I also say that when they mentioned to us in our workshop, after we made all these pretty signs and we were getting ready to march in Gage Park in Chicago for fair housing, that when Andrew Young said, you guys, we're going to use those signs now that you made as shields. Remember how in the movie Ben-Hur, they used these signs and they put them all together and they got under those signs so that they formed one big shield and you couldn't throw things in there. You couldn't get arrows in it. You couldn't get spears in it. You're going to do that and keep the rocks out. You're going to keep the bottles out. And people are going to try to spit on you. And our kids, we was little thugs, you know. So we said, no, you mean they go do it? And we say, we ain't doing this. This is Chicago. And we don't take that. Okay,
That's
so
all right. That's
that
all right.
That's part of the militancy that Dr. King had to run into.
That's the never heard stories here. You can only catch those here on Radio Phoenix, and one way you can support Radio Phoenix is by becoming one of our sustaining members. For as little as $35 per year, members receive discounts, savings, and other benefits provided by our membership partner programs. And don't forget, the membership fee is tax deductible. So for more information, call and sign up 480-829-5746 or go online at radiophoenix.org. Click on the support tab at the top and then begin with Become a Member on the drop-down menu. We want to thank you for your generous support of community radio. We're going to take a quick little break here. We're going to get back to everybody's responses and reactions to that wonderful story there. It's the Soul Star Live. We'll be right back.
Okay.
I got to meet Dr. King. Not in anywhere near that form, but he had used to be years ago, and he can attest to this, that a jet could not come all the way across the country without stopping and refueling. And one of the major refuel places was here in Phoenix. And so there was a rumor, and it turned out to be true, that Dr. King was going to be on this particular plane. Everybody rushed down here. Not a lot of whites, but I did, because you have to understand, I grew up with an equal opportunity hater stepfather. So all I heard all my life was just unbelievable crap coming out of this man's mouth. And so something happened in my head, and I moved in a different direction than others. And it's just, that's the way I think. So I went down to see him, and on the way, and he was marvelous, and he shook my hand. There was this 15-year-old girl who was just enamored with his elegance. And, I couldn't even say Dr. King. I just put my mouth open, And on the way back from the airport, I got jumped by two white guys.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. And they beat the crap out of me and called me, lover.
Okay, stand by.
My goodness. That is to no ill effect. That's upsetting.
My mother asked, my face was all busted up. And she said, was
okay,
it worth
stand
it?
by. Stand by.
Salt and pepper, express yourself. It's one beautiful thing we do here on Soul Star Live. We're gonna jump right back into our conversation here. We're dealing with Dr. King, and Sister Joan was telling us that you had the wonderful opportunity of meeting Dr. King.
I did very briefly, unlike Rod, who actually spent a great deal of time. It was just a brief, I got to shake his hand. But the part of the story that goes on is that I was beat up because I went down there and called names. But the most marvelous thing was when I got home, and of course my face is all banged up, and my mother comes over to me and she says, "Was it worth it?"
Oh.
And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Okay then, don't get arrested." And then she kind of fixed my face. "Just don't get arrested," is all she said. I said, "If this is what you believe in, then do it."
Wow.
But she wanted to hear me say, yeah, it was worth it. And it was worth it.
It's powerful. And I'm kind of jealous right now because I'm in the studio with two people who have been able to, be in the presence of my main man,
It's just incredible.
I came in a decade or two too late. It's all right, though. I'm trying to work on the situation. I'm reaching back. I do enough reading and watching. So, I realize that he's such a figure, to think about some of the ideas that Dr. King and like Malcolm X were two opposing idealists. They were actually in the same vein, just coming out of two different, instruments in a sense. And you could hear that. That's what I thought was amazing. I could hear the militancy or the point where it says, all right, by any means necessary, it makes sense at this point. We've made it this far. Now he's gone. It's almost as if this speech even kind of took that characteristic to initiate that. We have to be able to stand up against this thing.
And there's this blind eye to this stuff. And Bob Dylan, in his song "Blown in the Wind," says it perfectly. He says, "How many times can a man turn his head and pretend he doesn't see?" Yeah. And how about you've got to begin to see the injustice and say, "No, we've got to change this."
Yeah, that speaks a lot to where that decade was. It was this blossoming decade of the '60s that was full of turmoil. It was full of great things, and it kind of gives the explanation point for the U.S. That's our decade to go back to for a historical moment in time. And I'm actually grateful to be able to just hear the stories of y'all actually walking around and politicking and doing things. And so it sounded like a great time. Did you expect this future, like this technology, this opportunity, these kind of the same thing coming around again? Did you expect this future?
Actually, I did. And as a matter of fact, 30 years ago, I was talking to my sister and my niece, and I said, this will happen again because we haven't excised the ignorance. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised. What I am surprised by is the technology that we have that has prevented us from becoming close to one another. So that I did not really anticipate it. So you have this whole group of people who are now empowered to say all these cruel and horrible things because they're anonymous. Yeah. But the words are not anonymous. They're still cutting and biting and destructive. And they just don't understand that. Wow. So,
What about you, Chief? Did you expect this here? Is this a...
Well, I'm not sure what I expected. I didn't expect to, when my high school English teacher made me learn I Have a Dream for our speaking contest in Chicago at that time. I never imagined, and I'm sure my teacher didn't either, that I would have to do that speech between 10 and 30 times a year for about 40 years. Wow. Every single year. To more people than I can even imagine. I can't even. I've done some years, I've done 10 and 20 different high schools in just the month of January, February. So, no, I had no idea of what to expect from America and from the changes that spun from the civil rights movement. I had no idea that the moral consciousness of the country would change the country in the ways that it has. So change is so mercurial and dynamic. A lot of times we don't understand what to predict or how to predict it. So yeah, I'm with Joan. I sort of I understood there needed to be a lot of change. I became very let's say frustrated with the fact that the country wouldn't listen to nonviolence. And I was one of those kids who grew up in a neighborhood that practiced violence every day. So when you say nonviolence, there was a concept that escaped us as to how you're going to be respected if you're not going to fight. Okay, so Dr. King taught us another way to fight. And I like what Joan was saying, which is something that's nuanced that many people don't know, and that they should share with their kids. Because if there's one thing I didn't expect that I wish had happened more, was that a lot of us who were like baby boomers had picked up the history and told it more to the next generation. Because that did not happen a lot, I think that our kids are failing today, and they are distorted in their thinking about how to make change and foment change in a community such as this. Okay, and I'm hoping, I have a lot of optimism about the current generation, though. I think we have some of the most brilliant kids ever right today. And I think technology has added to the capacity that we have to create social change and to communicate it. There's never been a more literal generation that exists today. So much so that they do spoken word, and you have people who can do volumes of talking extemporaneously. Well, that comes because you have a more educated society. Okay, and I think that these are elements that are going to help us because I think the Generation Z, that is, from 2000 to 220.
That's what they call
is Generation Z. Are the children of technology. Okay, they're the children of technology. They have hearts, they have minds, and they're more articulate than they ever was. Athletes are articulate. You have many, many people in media like yourselves that are very articulate, very bright, very educated. So I have great optimism. I don't have any kind of feeling that we are in a pit that we can't climb out of. It doesn't deter me because you have a president that is rogue. Because I know that you have a society that is well able to discern it for himself. And I think that Joan is right. We're excising something that needed to come out. The cancer wasn't completely eliminated. Now we're able to do it. And if this guy is a conduit for that happening and getting it out of people onto the surface where we can get rid of it, so be it. Thank God that we can do that. And we can see the culprit for what it is, and we can see the attitude for what it is, and destroy it.
Right there on the side.
That's what my thinking is about today.
I think there's more people out there who believe the same way that Rod and I do than they're opposite. I just think the other people are loud, but that doesn't mean that there's more of them. You know?
Oh man! All right. So really quickly, you have written a play, Evangelia,
right?
And it will be when is it going on?
It's the Mother's Day weekend, May 12th and May 13th at the Gathering Place Church.
All right. We will be giving more information out about that to our listeners and online as well. And if you're listening in, our email is soulstarliveradio@gmail.com. Our YouTube, you can catch us there, Soulstar Live Radio, on Facebook, Soulstar Live, and on Twitter @Soulstar Live 1. I'm Calvin Worthen. You can always catch me on Twitter also at Calvin J. Worthen. And like and subscribe and all the sorts for our channels. We want to thank you so much, our wonderful guests, Sister Joan and Brother Rod Ambrose, coming in to Soulstar Live. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. God bless you. Have a great Sunday.
Right.
And we're clear.
Great show.
Thank you.
That was great. That was absolutely powerful.
Yes, thank
That's
you.
one of those good green shows that we can like play over and over again and people can learn something. That was really,
Well, I thank you.
whew, that was good.
Oh, I
appreciate
appreciate that you're allowed to come here and talk. It's a
Yeah.
passion of mine. And, you know, I've lived my life this way. It's not something just since I've been 15 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Raised my son this way, and
You got some decades in the game,
Yeah.
in the activist game.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. Wonderful.
Say bye to her.
Goodbye. Peace out, people on
Peace
YouTube. We love you so much. Click on listen, subscribe. Click subscribe. Facebook. We're going to be on next week too. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, very cool.
So if you guys have
You can end that
Facebook
video.
as well,
I did.
we'll share. And you can share this with your
Yeah.
friends and your networks, your circles on Facebook, and have them share as much